Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Think about that for a moment. How much of what you call your choices are actually being made by unseen forces inside you? The patterns you repeat in relationships, the fears that pull you back, the quiet voice that whispers, "You can't do this." These are not random. They are the secret scripts of the unconscious, and unless you bring them into the light, they will quietly run your life. This is what Jung meant when he spoke of the shadow, the hidden part of you that secretly controls your decisions. If you want freedom, you cannot keep running from your shadow. You must face it. The unconscious is not your enemy. It is not here to destroy you. It is here to teach you. But when ignored, it becomes a tyrant. It whispers in habits you cannot break. It shows itself in the partners you choose, in the fears you cannot silence, in the dreams you wake from, confused and unsettled. Jung believed that what we reject in ourselves does not disappear. It waits in the dark, and it finds a way to live through us. That anger you deny, it may become the sharp words you regret. That fear you push down, it may turn into hesitation that costs you opportunities. That longing you buried may show up as envy when you see others succeed. The unconscious does not vanish. It only hides until you dare to face it. Jung warned us, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Think about that. How many choices have you made that felt like coincidence, but were actually echoes of patterns you never questioned? Why do you fall for the same type of partner again and again? Why do you sabotage yourself right when things are going well? Why do certain fears return, even when you thought you'd outgrown them? This is not random. It is the unconscious pulling the strings. It places obstacles in your path, not to punish you, but to wake you up. Every conflict, every repeated mistake, every shadow that follows you is a message. Look here, pay attention. This is where you must grow. The unconscious is not only darkness, it is also the birthplace of light. Within it live the forgotten parts of you, the talents you buried, the creativity you dismissed, the courage you denied. Jung believed that true freedom comes when you integrate these hidden pieces, not by rejecting them, not by pretending they aren't there, but by walking toward them and giving them a voice. When you face what you fear, the fear loses its power. When you embrace what you repress, the repression dissolves. And when you reclaim your lost potential, your life stops feeling like fate and starts feeling like choice. Jung often spoke of the shadow, the parts of ourselves we refuse to see. But here is the secret. The shadow is not only darkness, it is a mirror. When you look into it, you are not simply facing what you fear. You are facing the pieces of yourself that you need to reclaim. Your anger hides your power. Your envy hides your longing. Your sadness hides your depth. And your fear hides your courage. When you stop running from the reflection and dare to look into the water, you discover that the shadow is the doorway to wholeness. The unconscious does not trap you, it invites you to see who you really are. Jung believed that every person is not oneself, but many. Inside you live voices you have silenced. The child who wanted to play, the artist who wanted to create, the dreamer who dared to hope. And when you deny these voices, they do not disappear. They wait in the shadows. They show up in your frustration, your anxiety, your sense that something is missing. But here lies the truth. The unconscious is not trying to hurt you. It is trying to remind you of the pieces of yourself you've forgotten. Integration is the key, not perfection. Not becoming something else, but allowing all your inner voices to have a place at the table. Every day, you stand at a crossroads. Some choices feel small, but they ripple outward, shaping the entire course of your life. Most people believe they are choosing freely, but Jung warned us, if the unconscious remains unseen, it is the one making the choice. You think you are walking toward success, but perhaps you are running from fear. You think you are choosing love, but perhaps you are repeating a pattern of pain. You think you are chasing freedom, but perhaps you are still trapped in an old story you never questioned. The unconscious pulls the strings until you pause, become aware, and begin to choose consciously. This is the secret. Awareness turns fate into freedom. Knowledge alone will not free you. You can read every book, study every theory, memorize every lesson, and still feel lost. Jung understood this better than most, because wisdom is not stored in libraries. It is awakened in the soul. The unconscious does not respond to arguments or theories. It responds to symbols, to images, to experiences that reach beyond words. That is why dreams speak in pictures. That is why myths endure through centuries. That is why you can feel more truth in a single image than in 1,000 explanations. To truly change, you must go beyond knowing. You must experience. You must let the unconscious become conscious. The bridge between the unconscious and the conscious is not built in a single day. It is built moment by moment, choice by choice, with every act of awareness. Jung taught that this process is called individuation, becoming who you truly are, not who the world demanded you to be. It is not about rejecting the world, nor about losing yourself in it. It is about walking the bridge between both, honoring your inner truth while still engaging with life. Every time you notice a pattern, pause before reacting and choose differently. You lay another stone on that bridge. And slowly, you stop feeling controlled by fate and begin to feel guided by meaning. The secret that controls your life is not out there. It is rooted deep within you. Like a tree in the desert, you may appear alone, struggling under harsh conditions. But the roots go deeper than you realize. They stretch into the unseen, drawing strength from hidden waters, from layers of life you cannot see. Jung believed that the unconscious is like this hidden reservoir. Even when you feel dry, empty, or cut off, there is something within you, still feeding your spirit. To access it, you must go inward. You must tend to the roots, not just polish the branches. This is how you draw strength. When the surface of life feels barren, this is how you discover you are more than the conditions around you. There comes a moment when you reach the edge of everything familiar. The cliff is high, the waters below uncertain, and the air feels heavy with fear. But this is also the moment of awakening. Jung reminded us that the unconscious does not only hold shadow, it also holds untapped potential, the parts of you that have been waiting to rise. The leap is not into destruction, it is into becoming. when you dare to face yourself fully, to acknowledge what you've hidden, and to walk forward anyway. Life itself begins to expand. The unknown becomes your teacher, and what once felt like emptiness becomes infinite possibility. To live unconsciously is to walk in circles you do not see. You repeat patterns, you follow old scripts, and you wonder why life feels the same, no matter how hard you try to change. Jung's secret is this: once you make the unconscious conscious, the circle becomes visible, and once you can see it, you can step beyond it. The fears that once controlled you lose their grip. The stories that once defined you become chapters you can rewrite. You begin to realize that your life was never small. It was only hidden. And with each act of awareness, you step closer to the life that has been waiting for you all along. This is the work Jung called individuation. Not the pursuit of perfection, but the integration of wholeness. You are not only your strengths, you are also your wounds. You are not only your light, you are also your shadow. To live fully is to carry all of yourself, without hiding, without pretending, without fear. And when the pieces come together, you no longer feel like a stranger to your own life. You realize that the secret was never about controlling the world, but about no longer being controlled by what lies within. That is freedom. That is wholeness. That is the life Jung wanted you to claim. Jung's final message is not a command. It is an invitation. The secret that controls your life is not fate, not chance, not the world outside. It is the unconscious within you. And once you turn toward it, once you dare to listen, once you allow it to guide you, life changes. The path ahead may still be uncertain, but it will finally be yours. So the question is no longer, what controls my life? The real question is, am I willing to awaken to it? And that answer only you can give.